Wellness Talk. Good evening, Marsha, and how are you?
Hi, I'm good. A bit
Okay.
busy, a bit disorganized this evening, but we are here, most importantly.
Yes, praise God for that. Praise God for that. And today we are having such an exciting topic that a lot of people are actually looking forward to.
This is one of my favorite topics. Um, Out of all, I would say definition of love would be one of my most favorite topics. So it is surely a pleasure to share this with everyone, including you this evening, Daniel. Um,
Yes.
I'm not sure if this session will be a bit short, people, due to my battery level and my charger not working. So we'll see once we get the information out there, right? So Daniel,
Okay.
on the topic of the definition of love, what is your intake or what you have in your mind to share with us this evening on love?
Well, I will share something that I grew up hearing from the Bible, right? Beloved, let us love one another, for love is of God, and everyone that loveth is born of God and knoweth God. He that loveth not knoweth not God, for God is love. So, beloved, let us love one another. We used to sing that in our song in church in VBS and stuff like that, and
Yeah,
that stick with me, right? And I will say that I always believe if I if I claim to love God and I don't love the people who right or wrong me, then something wrong because I can't see God and I love in God that I can't see, but I don't love people that I can actually see. And just before you jump into it, Marsha, um, one thing I like to make clear is that we don't have to like somebody, and that don't mean that we don't love them, right? So sometimes somebody may we may not like their ways. They may be very out of timing, as I just put it, but that doesn't mean that I hate the person. What do you think about
that's
that?
true. That's true. It's true. I agree. I may not like someone for their toxic traits or their attitude or whatever it may be, but that doesn't mean I love for them. You love Willow is a natural thing for me to say you love somebody. It's not a romantic thing all the time. And I mean, we touch on that, the different types of love and different levels of love. But it's true, if you don't like someone and what they stand for and whatever, I mean, you still have love for them, nothing wrong with that. But you love everyone, right?
Correct.
Right. So today we're gonna touch on the topic. What That is the topic. The topic is love. So first thing, what is the definition of love? Um, in my opinion, I would say love is the definition of love is self-love. Love for yourself, love for your physical being, your flaws, your mistakes, your past, your future, love for everything about you and everything you've been through. And I believe after you achieve that self-love, the other types of love will follow. That's my opinion. But um, we'll go with what the book says now, right, Daniel? So, love is an intense feeling of deep affection, uh, or it can be something you like or enjoy very much. For example, we enjoy sharing knowledge to the public. We love doing that, right? I enjoy how to say watching my videos quietly while I eat. That keeps me going as well. Um, and love can also be an intense feeling or a deep affection to anybody. It could be to animal, it could be to a plant, it could be to living, non-living. Once you have that deep feeling of emotion or affection, it is termed as love. True love is a strong and lasting affection between spouses or lovers who are in a happy, passionate, and fulfilling relationship. An example of true love is the emotion shared between a couple who has been married for about 40 years and who are still passionate about each other and care deeply for each other. Now, when we hear the term love or the word love or anything to do with love, we automatically think relationships. Now, not everything revolves around relationships. There is parental love, there is sibling love, there are friends love, there is family love, acquaintance love, all types of love. So to me, as long as you have some level of love within your heart, they're okay. So love is a mixture of feelings and actions that shows a deep liking for someone or something. Like I said, you could have a favorite cat, a favorite dog, and you show affections or buy something as a reward or as a likeness or anything like that. You could have a favorite what? Shoes that you like to wear and you could idolize it. Anything else I would say, or and I was seeing my son there. Yeah. He's 6 years old and saying that is true. Yeah, so yeah, so it have, like I said, have different levels of love, right? But most people link love with romance. Romantic love can lead to certain things, right? It would lead to things as dating, marriage, sex, but the person can feel for his friends or family members. So, like I said, there are different levels of love. So, we're going to discuss four levels of love, which is eros, um, philia, storge, and agape. So I'll say that one more time. Eros, Philia, storge, and agape. So Eros would be, I'll give you a little definition for each one. So the Eros love is a concept of Greek philosophy referring to the sensual or passionate love from which the term erotic is derived. Sorry. Eros has also been used in psychological evaluations in a much wider sense, sorry, almost as equivalent to life energy, right? So they are saying that the eros love is referred to sensual or passionate love, which is more what this is more the love that we know about boyfriend, girlfriend, common law husband, common law wife, marriage, whatever the fixture may be. This is what we call eros love. And they spoke about that it has also been used in philosophy and psychology in a much wider sense. They say it is almost equivalent to life energy. Now, life energy is a topic that we can discuss later on. It's a very exciting topic as well when we talk about frequencies, energies, and that sort of thing. So, what is life energy? Some may ask. So, life force energy is the essence of life that flows through all living things, not some living things, all living things. It can be measured in humans and animals, overall vitality through their heartbeat, brain waves, and blood circulation and breath. So all these things, once you how to say, once you are what's the word I'm looking for? Once you have feel love or give love or anything of that love energy, all these things are going to be running through your brain cells, running through your circulation of blood, running through your breath, or the life force energy can be felt throughout the body. And love is a high frequency. So having that within your aura, within your space, or within your energy is a very positive thing to have. So next we have the filial love. Now, filial love is the most general form of love in the Bible. This is love for fellow humans. So, Daniel, this would be the love that we would be familiar with. Love for fellow brethren, love for fellow sistren, like that. Love for people of equality, meaning I would say equality as in I have respect for you, have respect for me, I have love for you, have love for me, and that's it. No ifs and no buts, no gray matter. Right? So that's what you call filial love, which is a type of love that I would think all of us would have within ourselves, that natural instinct to love one another. That's the filial love. So storge love refers to the natural or instinctual affection, such as the love of a parent towards an offspring and vice versa. Like kids loving their parents, parents loving their kids. And I don't even mean like blood related. I mean, anybody who is within the rules of parenthood will have that instinct once bonding with a child, would have that instinct to naturally love that child in whichever way they perceive love to be, and vice versa. In social psychology, another term for love between good friends is philia, which is the same love we spoke about, a brethren love, a sister in love. So they are a bit similar in that aspect. So finally, we have agape love, the fatherly love of God for humans, as well as the human love of God. So it is whatever you perceive or think God is, whether you think he's a male, whether you think he's a female, whether you think he's a flower, it does not matter. Whatever you perceive that to be, that is called agape love. The love that you have for God and the love that God has for us, that is agape love. In our everyday lives, people donate to charities. It doesn't even have to be charities. Say, I go out and I cook food for the entire village, or I go out and do these big things and probably get it on camera, or we don't get it on camera, right? It doesn't mean that simple as paying for elderly or someone who don't have that much cash. You pay, say you pay for them to go home, or a little child that not so well off, you help them buy books or something. It have small charities, not just because you don't have a big grand amount of food to give to somebody or money means that it's not charity, right? So anything like that where you are doing it solely for the benefit of just doing it. Well, I mean, the goodness of your heart. Not that I am doing this and I want this on Facebook at 6 p.m. and I get enough likes by 7 p.m. Not that kind of thing. That doesn't involve that. You have no sorts of benefits or blessings to get from doing a task like that if it's just self-praise. So doing something for someone just out of the goodness of your heart, whether you know them or not. There is a saying that says, I can't remember who it is from, but there is a saying that says, he who plants a trees knowing that one day he will never get shade from it has only now begun to learn about life. And what that says is really, let's say you want to give a donation. You don't have to give a donation to the people you know alone. You don't have to give the donation in an open forum where everything going to be in public and everybody going to know what you did and what you give and who you give it to. You don't have to do things like that. You could do things like I say, very, very simple. You could say a prayer for someone and send some good energy their way, and you would get much more blessings than taking $100 and going and handing them out. I'm not saying you will not get blessed for those things. I'm just saying that you can do things out of the goodness of your heart. That's the only how you can experience real love. The only how. So, seeing that we discussed those four types of love, Daniel, you have anything to say on it before I move on to self-love?
Yeah, well, before you move on, you touched on agape love, which is really the unconditional love that God has towards us, right? And when we, I think it could just even go back to the verse that I mentioned in the beginning, right? When we could love someone even though we don't really like the person ways, right? Just because the love of God is in us, we will have that ability to love that person or love people. It are people who I really can't stand. I totally dislike them. I do like for them to be around me. But if I see something happen to that any of those people, automatically that agape love within me will just kick in, and I will just that will just activate. That person wouldn't even need to ask me for any assistance. And because of the humanitarian side of me, which even the people who we might see as bad people, I think everybody have that humanitarian side. You will naturally want to help someone, you will naturally want to save someone from drowning or someone in an accident, right? I saw internet showing here kind of low, so I hope you all are picking up clear. I saw an article recently where there was an accident. Right, you hear me clear, Marsha? My internet showing,
Um,
my signal showing.
I'm hearing you, but like there is a pause, so I'm trying to focus to hear you
My
properly.
signal was showing low. I'm a little better now, right? Your signal is showing quite clear, but I'm hearing you quite clear as well, right? I saw an article recently where got in an accident, and the people who went to save his life also robbed him, right? His car, I think, went down in a ditch or something like that, and they rescue him, but they also rob him of some money, right? But in spite of the fact that they took his money, I think the natural instinct to save a life, that speaks to agape love.
It's true that the agape love that we have, that is our natural instincts. We were born to love people. We were born to continue to grow. We were born to evolve. We are also born to die one day. This is something we would have known. I mean, we would have known as long as we know life that, you're born and die. But that
Well,
love that we have, that
I
is
doesn't.
included within our DNA, it is the agape love, which is the natural love for God. Now, Daniel,
I
if we
doesn't
have the
totally.
natural love for God and God made all living things, aren't we supposed to have the natural love for mankind, for our fellow mankind, no matter the creed, race, or religion, or
Most
and animals
definitely,
as
but I
well?
doesn't totally believe that we were all born to die here because, well, for me, me, I just boldly say what I believe. I believe in the Bible and the Word of God and stuff like that, and I believe that on that day when the trumpet is sung, according to the Bible, that some of us will still be alive, right? Some people say it's an Nancy story, but then I'm entitled to believe that, right? I believe in Jesus and the Word. So
Okay. All
I
right.
I think
Well, Daniel, I
we are
don't know
not
how
all.
I'm unable to hear you, but I'm seeing you clearly. I'm seeing you
Okay,
clearly. Right. As
probably
we
my
move on, we are moving on to.
I guess
Sorry.
it might be my headset then.
I
It's
don't know if
probably
it's
my
on my
headset.
side because I was getting two calls and maybe because of that it muted a bit or the volume was loud. Nonetheless, we'll move forward, right? Um, So we spoke about four different types of love. We spoke about what is life energy, and we also spoke about um, what is the definition of love. I mean, I hear people tell me they love me. I mean, relationships, children, aunt, uncle, like love you, and you hear these things, and then something will go on down the line where you are hurt maybe by this person or situation that this person has created. And this I love you turned into you hurt. And the only how you'll be hurt is if you're disappointed. And the only how you'll be disappointed is if you didn't expect something from happening. And the only how we don't do that is when how to say, the only how we don't expect somebody to do something is when you trust them. And remember, we spoke about trust. And trust is the backbone of every relationship, any type of relationship. So that is just a little on the definition of love. But like I said earlier, my definition of what love is self love. Learning to love yourself despite your mistakes, learning to love yourself despite how you look, smell, act. If you don't love yourself, how do you expect anybody else to love you? And then, Daniel, I'll tell you something else. I always heard the saying, if you don't love yourself, you can't love anybody else. So I mean, I would have
I
told people
believe
I
that
love them, obviously, and I am saying to
I believe
myself
it.
no. Only last year I really come into myself and started to love and appreciate myself. So I'm saying to myself, if you now
I
started
think
to love yourself, how could you love anybody else previously now? Like, it's not
I
working
think on
out. It's
that
not
note, I think on
exactly.
that
So,
note, we'll bring it to
I was wondering that because I never loved myself before the way I'm supposed to, right? And now that I am practicing self-love on a daily basis, I tell myself I love myself every day because I am not waiting for someone to say it. Well, my kids drill me with that all day long. My son, they must be like, Mommy, love you. Mommy, love you. Mommy, love you. So I am surrounded by that energy of love. So that's why I said that this topic to me is very, very nice. And it's a fun topic because no one really talks about hate. Love, sorry, you more hear about hate. You more hear about self-pride. You more hear about snubbing. You more hear about these things. These things make social media. But love and light, you don't really hear about that. If somebody talking about love, people might think, oh, that's the 70s, that's the 80s, that's way back when, But to me, love and light is 2021 or 2020. It's always been that. But to me, in my life, applying things that relate to love and things that relate to light has tremendously changed my perspective on a lot of things, a lot of things. So like I said, self-love is the most important love you need to have. Regard for one's own well-being and happiness is what we call self-love. Daniel, are you concerned about your well-being and happiness? Do you do everything that you need to do in order to make to how to say to bring you happiness, to bring you and your family happiness?
well, I think I will do things that I am able to do based on resources available. Some things I want to do, there are needs and wants. And then there are some things that you actually want to do for your own happiness. It may not necessarily be your needs. And if I cannot get everything that I want, that I believe will make me happy, then I make the best of what is available, right? In this sense, it may not I want in order to be happy, right? Even though I know I will be happy about having it, some things you could just do it out and still be happy, right? But once you're able to make best of what is available to you, then you could find that happiness.
Correct. I believe that as well. If it is, I'm just saying, if you want a particular food to I just have to cook all the time, right? So if you have a particular food you want to eat and say the menu requires you in order to have that, to achieve that, you need something and you don't have that particular meat and you have to, it can give you the same level of happiness, if not more. Because if it wasn't for your creativity, you would not have been able to, achieve whatever you're achieving, whether it be a meal, whether it be anything you set your mind out to. Like Daniel said, if we are not grateful for the things that we have, or we make the best out of the things that we are given, we will not get any more than that. Simple as that. So, self-love. It's also defined as love of self. This is yourself here. This is myself, that's Daniel's self. Everyone is responsible for their own self, not just responsible of just feeding and giving education and giving knowledge. Also love. You need to give yourself love and you need to give yourself time to love yourself. So regards for one's own happiness, all of this is the same thing as self-love. Has been conceptualized both as a basic human necessity and as a moral flaw to vanity and selfishness, a moral flaw, right? So loving oneself keeps you from being vain, keeps you from being selfish. Because when you are within the energy of love, you are within the creator's energy, whatever you want to call him, God, whatever you want to call him, you are within source's energy. And if you are within source's energy in love, then only things of love will be attracted to you. If you are within the energy of hate, crime, anger, all these low frequencies, depression, anxiety, guess what's going to be coming your way? That means you're not, if you're in anxiety and being depressed, that means you are not being grateful. And if you're not being grateful, means you are not in love with yourself. And if you're not in love with yourself, who are you in love with? That's the question, right? So So it how to say it operates as a flaw to vanity and selfishness, which links to egotism. So I mean, who would have done psychology would have known about the ed and how to say what goes on in the mind when a thought is being processed. Maybe we could share that on another time. But ego has to do with being self-prided, and all these things are low frequency, which goes together with guilt, shame, um, and how to say depression, anxiety, lower frequencies. Once you remain within the lower frequencies, only bad things will continue to happen because that means it's like different levels. So to say each have different levels. So here would have like four low frequencies, and on top might have three low frequencies, and they keep going higher and higher. And the higher you go with the good frequencies, the less you are at risk of bad things happening to you. I'm not saying it will not happen, but because of it's like driving a car. If you drive a car for the first time, you'd be a bit scared, you'd be a bit uncertain, right? But if you continue to drive, you drive like a boss, right? And it's practice. If you practice telling yourself, I love you, Marsha, every day, or Daniel, you stand in front of the mirror and say, Daniel, you are handsome. Daniel, you are worthy of love. Daniel, you are the best version of yourself, or, something like that. And you remain consistent in that. Is, is there anybody who could come and tell you otherwise? No, they can't. Because you know to yourself, you are the best version of yourself. You do your best, although you make mistakes, and you are very much loved and able to give love, and most importantly, able to receive love. And all that, I mean, all those things are called affirmations as well, claiming things on yourself. So, in a nutshell, self love means having a high regard for your own self and for your well being and for your own happiness, and taking responsibility for all your actions. Self love means taking care of your own needs and not sacrificing your well being to please others. Now, that statement in itself has a lot of people mental health in shams because, all right, let me give you some example. Say, Daniel, I love the color red, and I want to buy red curtains, but I know someone close to me does not like red and they live in the same house. So I might bypass that red color and probably buy a favorite color to somebody else pleasing. And every time I pass the curtain, I may not like it. Every time I think about it, I see in red curtains. I started now you're gonna start a dream red curtains. Now it might be something a bit more drastic than buying curtains. But it is on your mind now because you're like, because you know what, you put that person in front of you, you put their feelings, their emotions in front of you. Now that is a bit tricky because you're placing your trust in someone, saying to them, whether it be like I say, relationship or siblings or whatever the case may be, you putting your trust in them and saying, here what? I trust you to do the right thing for me because you know yourself and you could trust yourself to do the right thing for others because you're just. But someone might take advantage of that and they may not want the best for you. But because they're inside your circle, they feel well they are friends, and they are not. So if we love ourselves the way we're supposed to, and someone opinion comes up and it is say opposite to yours, I am still thinking you're supposed to trust your gut and do what you want to do because you're confident in your decision making. But if you don't love yourself, how are you gonna be confident? If someone is saying, let's see what your eye big, your head big, or you don't know nothing, you illiterate, all these kind of things. I mean, these are things in everyday life people tell people. I can tell you for a fact, right? And they're probably worse words than that, but I really try not to put those words in my vocabulary. And people say these mean things to you. What is that really saying about the person? I mean, stop for a minute, you think, right? And why is this person telling me all these mean things? Forget about the emotion. Forget, you see, these words carry vibration. And if you tell somebody they're worthless, that carries a low frequency vibration. And these are the things coming out of your mouth. But what does that say about you? It has nothing to do with the other person that you are insulting. I might say, Daniel, your head big. And I might hurt your feelings so much. And that says nothing about your head being big. That's me having a problem with you. That's how it looks like to me, right? So what I'm saying is, if it is you are confident in your skill and yourself and your love and the things that you have, the gifts, no one can come and spoil your mood and say no is so or is not so, or I like this. Okay, well, you like that and you like that, and that's to do with you. That's not to do with me. And that's how simple it is to me, right? In my head. Um, so figuring out self-love, figuring out what self-love looks like for you as an individual is an important part of your mental health. So remember, I was telling you that self-love to me is the most important love because it has you vibrating at a frequency that is very, very high, and it is almost untouchable to the lower frequencies, which is guilt, shame. So as soon as things start to go good sometime, you things start to like bounce out the closet now, like, oh, she do this, and it's a boy, oh, he do that, and oh, whatever, oh, they get this done, or they didn't get this done. All these things come up, and then you slowly forget about the one little good successful thing you had. You forget about the love that you was feeling. You forget about the joy, and people will be like, after joy is sorrow. And after something happens, after a situation happens, people would say that, well, after joy is sorrow. And you see, that is why they say after joy is sorrow. But if you believe that, it always gonna have. But what about after the joy is sorrow, and after the sorrow is joy again? Laugh and cry is live in the same house. In order for a child to be born, someone has to die. Not within the same party, but someone has to die. It has to have a balance. We can't have babies being born and nobody dying. Or we can't have people dying and no babies not being born. So it is a cycle. Um, Sacrificing your happiness for people. Like as a mother, I thought that I needed to sacrifice my happiness, my time, my everything for my three children, which I did, right? So what I needed to do it or not, I did it anyhow, right? And what I have realized over my daughter is 13 years. So after all of that, I realized that when they get older and they have their significant other and they move forward in their life with their jobs and whatever makes them happy, you're going to be back to square one. And if you don't put yourself first, at some point you're going to have nothing. One, the house is going to be empty. We're going to start to make kids at 55, 60. I'm not saying it's not doable. I'm just saying if you're not going to start your family, your body going to start to be getting weaker. No. So we need to have some sort of balance. We cannot kill out ourselves for our kids. And at the end of the day, you're so tired, broken, and like, yeah, it's for my children, yeah, it's for my children. I want to leave you. What you doing for you? Now I had stopped school, Danielle, work everything for my kids. I made my full sacrifice as I was supposed to. But like I said, what I realized in the ending is that I needed to love myself, because if I have a good mental state, I am automatically a happier person. If I'm automatically a happier person, my kids will automatically be happy. But if I am someone who does not love myself because I don't know how to love myself, then I'm going to endure a lot of little bumps on the road going down to challenge. Hey, Marsha, you need to love yourself, because situations, if you don't love yourself, the conflict from within is going to come outside, because our eyes are projection, right? So we're going to project now the little issues we have inside, which is, say, I could love myself. Somebody might put me in a situation where they're abusing my trust or whatever the case may be, and I am secretly not happy, and it's going to continue happen. I'm going to put it under the rug, until the pile so big where I throw the rug, everything, and that entire thing becomes sloppy and a bad situation. So continue to love yourself, but you need to do research. Certain things we say, like certain things we would share tonight, or this evening, certain things that we share, you all could research it. You could research what is life energy, because everything I did, I researched, and it was very, very easy. A lot of things I say is based on my opinions and experiences as well, but a lot of the facts that I say is based on, authors and psychologists and everything. It's a gathering of information. So a question that we would ask, I would think, would be, how can I practice self-love? Because if self-love is the key, right? And right after trust, so we build that love, it will be strong, right? So how can I
That's
practice
the
self-love?
question, right?
One,
Remember,
these how they say,
Yeah,
I
not
listed a few. You are free to research and do your own research and get your own information and follow your own guidelines. This will just make it a bit easier. So how can I practice self-love? Stop comparing yourself to others. This is something I wouldn't even say an issue. This is a programming that we have. Um, that if you didn't get a promotion, how come this person get a promotion? I made more hours. I am here longer. Da 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 da. Guess what? It was not fair to get a promotion. It doesn't really matter. I don't want to say it doesn't matter what you feel or what you think. What I am saying is you need to really sit down and think about why you're really upset. Are you really upset that the person got the promotion in front of you? Or are you upset for another reason and this situation just happened to be there in order to experience that emotion that you're feeling? Right? So it's a lot of inward activity, right? And you don't need Wi-Fi for that. You could ask yourself questions. You could just follow your gut, follow your confidence, type something that, okay, you're certain, type something about that. Look for remedies. You're feeling as though you're feeling a little anxious. Look at some tools that you could use to help raise your frequency. Look at, sing a hymn, say a prayer, close your eyes, rest your eyes. There are certain things you could do to increase the level of the love energy around you, which will only be beneficial to you and the people around you that you care about. So stop comparing yourself to others, right? They get a pound of gold, leave them with a pound of gold. You have 2 pounds of gold coming, right? But if you're going to be looking at it all the time, it's not going to come. You're going to miss it right in front of your eye. Don't worry about others' opinions. Now, I could be the most given person ever. You might have one individual who does not like me for whatever reason, for whatever agenda, whether it be true or not. And they might meet somebody else and it might be like, da 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 da, XYZ about her. I might get back to here, right? Now, in a situation like that, what am I going to do? Am I going to sit there and fret about how this person, who clearly does not know me, have this and that to say about me? No, that's going to bring me stress and worry. And I do have time with that. I have 3 kids as being online and I'm quite busy. So I can't study those things, Daniel. I really can't study those things. So you don't bother yourself about what anybody think about you. If it's true, yourself is true, full stop. Don't even put a comma after that. Full stop, guys. It start over. If it is not true, you have nothing to prove to nobody. You and the father know what happened, or it was a lack of communication, it was a misunderstanding, whatever it may be. You know that. You don't need to prove yourself to anybody because what that does is create doubt within our minds, especially if we make a mistake, we're not certain about our next steps. We're not sure about our next steps, if not concrete, we float and all this kind of thing, and that leads to other problems, right? Trust me, I know I have been through, not them all, but I have been through quite a few. Allow yourself to make mistakes. The same thing I was saying, you made a mistake, okay, boo-hoo. As long as nothing catastrophic, like, murder or something else, well, then I can't really advise you on that because that's not familiar territory. But, you make a mistake, you do something crappy, you do something shady, you do something selfish, okay. You are a grown person. Apologize to yourself for knowing the right thing to do because we always know the right thing to do and doing the wrong thing. Apologize to the person if you have hurt them. It does not even matter what they're going to do or what they're going to say, as you need to get your conscience clear. Simple as that. And say, okay, if I make a mistake, say, Marsha, you made a mistake, right? You have health and strength, not even to rectify it, but to, to make yourself right again. There will always be an opportunity to make yourself right, and the universe will present it. It's just a matter of having a little patience until you get there. Remember, your value doesn't lie in how your body looks. Well, probably that would be our next topic, but I must say that again. Remember, your value does not lie in how your body looks. Because I have been watching some TikTok, right? I don't have TikTok, right? But the kids them do. I am watching, and everything is a body. The person does not have to be doing anything. They're just shaking the bottom or jiggling something, Danielle, right? And it's like, whoa. They're not even having to say anything. That sounds smart. I hear in my song class they're saying the sentence must make sense in creative writing, right? The sentence must make sense. So even if you're writing a sentence, right, it must make sense. I would think if you are saying a sentence, it makes sense as well. But it does not apply to this generation here, right? Because sometimes it does not make sense, and the girl or whoever will just be shaken. And when somebody who does not look the same or look slightly different or have some sort of physical, how to say, um, oh gosh, I can't even get the word, but not average looking, let me put it like that, not average looking, that person going to think that the only how they're going to get likes is to flash their self and shake up a little bit. And that could never be self-love. Never, ever, ever. Your beauty lies within. Always lies within. You look as attractive as you feel. As well, if it is you treating your body good and saying nice things and doing nice things, how are you gonna look? You're gonna always be looking nice with a healthy glow. But if it is you doing wrong things, saying wrong things in low frequency, anxiety, depression, guilt, and all these kind of things, you're gonna feel, you're gonna start to look crappy, and stress and worries, it speeds up the aging process. There are plants like the pan leaf, we call it betel leaf as well, that slows down the aging process. It's quite a bitter plant, right? But the health benefits of it through the roof. They call it the anti-diabetic plant. I can't say I use it drinking it because it's very bitter, but I do make it in capsules, and well, we take that at home. So your value doesn't lie in how your body looks, right? Your value lies in your words and your deeds. Don't be afraid to let go of toxic people. And it's funny how all these things coincide and calculate back up together to the bigger picture, right? Which is basically don't allow the outside world to influence what you think and feel on the inside too much, unless it is warranted by you, unless you need to feel a particular way or need to say something. Don't let the outside influences influence you too much, because if you don't have control over your words and your deeds, who does? We are not puppets. Well, I'm sure I am not one. We are not puppets, right? We need to dance to our own music. We need to move to our own tune. So we need to learn how to create it. Um, so don't be afraid to let go toxic people, right? They're toxic to you. You know they would betray you, they backstab you, etc., etc. Bye bye. Burn the bridge. Move on. You don't need them in your life. If you did need them, they would remain there and they would not hurt you, right? I always say, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, right? So don't let it reach that third and fourth and fifth time, and then you go into that depression and things. Process your fears. Now we all have fears, Daniel, right? We all have fears. I would say about a year ago, I had a bunch of fears. Most of them to deal with people and acceptance and all these kind of things. But I'll tell you today, I probably would have to think very, very, very hard to think about a fear. But you need to process your fears. If you are afraid of bats, you need to figure out why you're afraid of bats. If you're afraid of what people think of you, you need to understand why you're thinking like that. If you are afraid of failure, first of all, there's nothing to fear. Nothing to fear at all, at all. Failure just gives you opportunity to get it right the next time. Simple as that, right? So process your fears. Google it. How do I process my fears? Or that could be another topic, Daniel, right? Fears. Fears is another thing, because fears cripple the immune system badly, badly. It's a low frequency. And most time fears are not really per se, I am afraid of the big bad world for the monster in the closet. Fear is more acceptance by your peers. That's what the issues. Being accepted within your community, being accepted within your family, being accepted, sorry, within the workplace, within the social sector. Everything is about being accepted, and we go out of our way trying to be accepted, but we don't accept ourselves. And that's where self-love, self-care comes from. If you accept yourself just as you are, hair, glasses, whatever you have, physical, mental, how far you have reached, you need to be proud of yourself. Give yourself a little pat on the shoulder, because you and you alone know what it took from you energetically or financially or physically. You alone know what it took from you to reach from point A to point B. So why allow anybody to have an opinion of how they think you should continue your life, because during the down, people not there, but during the highs, they tend to be there and very opinionated. So you need to be certain in your decisions. Someone, like I said, toxic person in your life, get rid of them. Burn the bridge, que sera, sera. Rise from the ashes after that, you know, and trust yourself to make good decisions for yourself. Like I said, that's like, say you want to switch jobs, you weigh all the pros and the cons.
Not sure if okay, I see Marsha is back here.
You hear me? All right. So you need to be secure in your decision making, because if you can't trust yourself to make decisions for your own life, and trusting that to somebody else is ridiculous, right? I'm not talking about children to their parents. I'm not talking about if somebody is not mentally capable to make decisions. I am just saying if you yourself as an individual cannot trust your own self to make decisions on what is best for you and your life and your happiness, then you are playing as how to say, you are playing a game with your life, because you need to love yourself. You need to care about yourself enough to know what you want and what you want to do in this life, and just be kind, be courteous, and all that would be returned. You can't expect to be a grumpy person, right? Like, you know, like a Scrooge, like a Grinch, and expect love. If you vibrate with love, love is only obvious, love will come, right? So, well, we have a few minutes again. So why? So we learn about what is self-love. How can I practice self-love? So a question I like to ask also is, why is self-love important? And this is where I think if people know this, you know, they would be able to do all the other little parts, you know, Google and find out. And then there are also fruits and vegetables that help raise your frequency as well. There are prayers that you could see, any affirmation, anything positive automatically raises your frequency, anything positive, right? So why is self-love important? Self-love has many benefits. The first benefit is greater life satisfaction. Now, greater life satisfaction, which simply means, Daniel, that a happy person, a satisfied person, could sit in the room that I am in with maybe 5 cricks and a half glass of water, no internet, you know, just sitting there and not be depressed and not be sad. That is a satisfied person with life, knowing fully well that at that moment I maybe have 5 cricks and a half glass of water, but tomorrow will not be the same, or later on will not be the same, because you are a satisfied, loving person full of gratitude. So you know it is just for a time, right? But someone egotistical or selfish, why me, Lord? Oh gosh, I could see trouble. If this one didn't do this, I would have had more crooks. If that one didn't pay the bill on time, I would have more than half glass of water. You know, the victim mentality that we tend to have, right? If this one didn't do that, that one, and it's still all it's doing is spiraling you back down to point A, which is in a depressive kind of manner, which is in a slow, low frequency kind of manner, right? Because how to say, nothing good comes from our comfort zone. Comfort zone is just for us to be comfortable. That's it. When it is you have to get produced from the land, is a lot of work going into preparing the land, planting the seed, watering the seed. Same thing with children, right? So if we know how self-love is important, we will have a better, imagine people walking around, Daniel, having a greater life, how to say, having a greater life satisfaction, contented within themselves, have a joy, have a peace. You know, you talk about a joy in your heart that no one could take, no one could take away. I have a joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Remember that song, Daniel? So It is like that. So if you continue to love yourself, you continue to feel like that. Like if you have a joy and no one can take it away, how can someone take it away with their words? No, they can't. How can someone take it away with a threat? No, they can't, because that's yours. That's yours. What people say is them. What you say and proclaim is yours, right? So when we love ourselves more, we instantly change our perspective of the world. When I began to love myself more, automatically everything changed. Automatically. Now I worked very, very hard at it, mind, body, and soul. So once you change your perception on love and light rather than hate and debate, they put it like that, it changes your perception. Like, maybe the world not that bad, maybe it's not why me, why me. Maybe this is happening because God wants to teach me a lesson. Maybe I'm getting this door closed because it would have been fatal for me or one of my family members. Maybe God didn't bless me with this barrel because I am getting 10 barrels next month, but I need to have patience. Maybe I didn't get this job now because there will be an opening in 2 months of the job that I deserve because I know my worth. Maybe a close relative died because it was simply their time. Simple things. Maybe things could explain themselves if we take the emotions, the extra emotions out of it. Maybe, how to say, if we diet and exercise. Now, the purpose of dieting and exercise is not that it is just for gym people, and it is not that it is just for certain people. No, no, no. I exercise every single day as much as I could, for at least 2 times. If I could help it 4 times, 5 times, right? According to my mood. But the importance of exercise, I have learned over a period of time, it automatically raises your frequency. So I try to exercise, which raises my frequency. And how to say, and the love, that increases the love energy around me. I try to eat a bit healthy. And all these things are things to self-love, because if you love yourself, you will take care of your body, right? Well, wait till 10 years from now, your body shutting down all house, so you nourish your body as well. So self-love can give us a more positive attitude towards life. It changes everything, people. It changes everything. Your attitude towards people will be better. Your attitude towards the world, your attitude towards your foe, the attitude towards your siblings, your family, your friends, the attitude towards yourself. It is what will dramatically change and be the most important, because you might get up, you might find yourself looking beautiful. You might find yourself looking handsome, you might be feeling sprightly, you might find yourself feeling good, all about a change in perception. So we really need to think about the influence of people we have around us. Are these people bringing love and light to our lives, or destruction and bacchanal? You be the decision, burn your bridge, and move forward. The second benefit of self-love is that it can encourage us to pick up good habits. Like I said, diet and exercise. You ever hear somebody allergic to that the exercising? You ever hear, Daniel, somebody can't, well, I mean, besides if you have a physical issue, you can't exercise. Exercising is a good habit. Because of self-love, I like to read, so I might find myself in a corner reading books. Is that a bad habit? No, it is not a bad habit. It is a good habit. Eating a little more healthy, eating more green to protect my heart and to make sure that antioxidants will pumping through my bodies and that continue to build my immune system. Is that something bad? No, it is something good. So having self-love for yourself could really help you pick up good habits. It help you pick up, you're talking more positive, because I take out certain words from my vocabulary. Daniel, they wouldn't hear me using low vibrational words, not too much. Probably one or two still there, but I try my best. So that is a good habit, not to say bad words. No, bad words is not the F word and the other words that we know about. Bad words are words that cripple our DNA and immune system by just being said within the atmosphere. So in closing, right, the last thing we'll talk about is, what is the key to self-love? A key to self-love is to be able to recognize and acknowledge all the ways you are amazing and be very, very grateful for it. So that is just tying up everything I will say preaching just now, which is, I'll say it again. A key to self-love is to be able to recognize and acknowledge all the ways you are amazing and be very, very grateful. Being grateful is one of the highest frequencies there is. Just being grateful for what you have, just being grateful for what is given, etc., etc. That is one of the highest frequency there is. And once you are grateful, all these other high frequency things will automatically come. Just as though I told you with depression, anxiety, and guilt, and this kind of thing, how they are linked. It's the same thing. Love and grace and blessings and prayers, all these are linked as well. So it will keep you on a higher vibration and keep raising your frequency and keep enlightening your mind and making you a very, very happy, satisfied person. So, let's say, right, acknowledge and all the ways you're amazing and be grateful, right? So you can be grateful for anything. Be grateful for your looks. You can be grateful for your hair. Be grateful for your freckles. Be grateful for the color tone of your skin. Be grateful for your smile. Be grateful for your hair. Be grateful for your toes. Because I'm pretty sure there is somebody, if not close by, somebody at the end of the world who is wishing to have normal toes, normal hair, normal eyes, normal skin, normal teeth, normal nose, anything, anything. There are people who wishing to have what you have, and you can't just be grateful, right? So being grateful is the number one energy that will attract love. Often, when we look at gratitude, we turn it outward and recognize all the external things we are thankful for. So being grateful for the outer things helps us be grateful for the inner things. Being grateful for the inner things help us be grateful for the outer things, which is the tangible things, the physical things that we are given or we buy for ourselves, etc. And so when we think about gratitude, we are able to accept ourselves as we are, perfect as we are, each individual, and we are able to love ourselves, which will in return allow us to love others because we need to love ourselves first. So affirmations are very, very important as well. You get up in the morning, you say you are beautiful, you are worthy of love, you are evolving to be the best version of yourself, anything to motivate you, anything to uplift you. Anything I said is positive will always be beneficial to you. Anything that is negative around you, for you, done by you, will not be good either. So the next topics for, I think for next week and probably the week after, you guys could choose, would be between depression. Daniel, I can't remember the next one. Which is the next one? Depression and what? Um, we can talk
Um,
about frequencies and chakras and all these nice. I like those topics, Daniel. And then we still have plans to
you
talk
hearing me
about
good on this
medicinal
one?
values of these local plants that we are blessed to have all through our yard and everything. And my kids had the cool someday, and I went and get some shining bush, fever grass, and I think it was stinger nettle. And by one shot, by the next day they weren't coughing. By one shot, the cough was gone. So all that we need, God has given us, right? It's just a matter
You
of
hearing me from
sharing
this
that
device?
knowledge and empowering people to help themselves. So it is 7:05. So that's it for me, wrapping up. And like I said, the topics for next week would be depression, um, opening your chakras, or meditation and frequency, or any topic that you guys think that we should speak about, or we could revisit topics as well. Daniel?
You hearing me from this device? Are you hearing me from this device?
Yeah, I'm hearing you, but vaguely, but I'm hearing
Okay, but I'm hearing you loud and clear all the time. Um, well, concerning the self-love, I will touch on something before we close. I'll try to be short, right? And you spoke about your interactions or your relationship on mother to children relationship, right? You spoke about that kind of experience where you were giving up whatever you give up to make sure that your children would have been in a better position, right? In my case, in 2006, I could recall being in a relationship, boyfriend and girlfriend kind of thing now, you know. So I always remember, and if ever my sister happened to hear this live stream, I sure will be able to recall that she used to tell me, um, every time I bring in somebody else and saying this is sister-in-law, right? So, so I really took that towards the heart, right?
Yeah.
And if my sister ever hearing this, Dan Bell, I took I took your words to heart. And at the time that I decided to take those words to heart, I ended up in a relationship with somebody who wasn't faithful at all, right? I knew the person wasn't faithful. And two things. One, I thinking to myself that, you know, right through moving out of one, bringing home somebody else, because the slightest thing, I don't really like to beat up now. So I will just jump out one time and move on. I ain't gonna say all woman bad and thing and I ain't no woman again. I moving on one time. I ain't playing. Right? But at this point in time I met this person and I say, you know what, let me try and work things out. If the problem is probably me that I do like to try and work things out, let me try and work things out for this one time. The next part to this now was that I, you know me, I am a type of person who will care and thing, and I always tell myself, you know what, let me have patience with this person. You know, you care about the person, and probably because of the past and whatever it is, you know, they just can't really keep the commitment. You know, before they met me, they, you know, probably had a kind of disorganized life. Until one day I come to my senses and I say, I can't love this person if I do love my own self, right? And I telling you, in my entire life, that is somebody that I was with for 11 months, and I did never stay so long with anybody before because, as I say, I ain't like to beat up. So it's either them drop me and go, or I jump them and go. But I did never really hold on to a relationship for 11 whole months. 11 months you're talking about, and I plenty. But anyhow, I came to the point where I realized that, you know what, this ain't good for me, right? If it is I really love myself, I wouldn't allow somebody to put me through this. And I can't love them if I don't love myself, right? I don't know how that thought flashed in my head, but you see the minute that thought flashed in my head, Marsha,
Yeah.
that was it for that person. That was it for that person. So I know the person didn't want to give up, eh? So I decided to come up with a little trick. I make them feel all right. I don't move on already, and I pretend that talking on the phone with somebody who's supposed to supposedly be coming to spend the night. Well, the person really tell herself somebody coming and spend the night. You know, that person show up the night too. Show up to see who is this person coming, right? But the point I'm making is that I made up my mind to move on for myself, right? And I get to realize you really can't love somebody if you don't love yourself. So I think that is, you know me, I like to drop in a little thing based on how the reality is and stuff like that. And that's just my reality. And for those of you who viewing, this is how we do it all the time. We out of the box. We out of the, hey, look your partner, Chris. Now come on. Chris
He just come in
Paul
here
Rodriguez. Yeah, Chris, yeah, I think we
and
have a big
gave
topic tonight, you
his
know.
Dave week saying good
Well,
night from Barbados.
from Barbados. Yes, yes,
And
yes.
Penny George always supporting, and well, Josh Samaru,
Yes.
my son, he's always there as well. Good night, guys. Thanks
Nice.
for
And
joining
I
us
don't know if you ever
as
saw the
always.
Marcia Weeks. You ever saw the Marcia Weeks show, Marsha? That's a
Sorry?
nice show in Barbados. The Marcia Weeks show in Barbados.
No, I
Have you
never
ever
saw.
seen it? Okay, well, when you get chance and for the other viewers as well, look for the Marcia Weeks show. The Marcia Weeks show. That is a show
Yeah.
in Barbados where you're getting a lot of information from all across the region. And it is very educational, Marsha. I think it's something you will like, right? So I will send you the link and stuff,
Yeah,
right?
send it to me now when I get some time.
So
Right,
Chris,
so Daniel, we have till
Penny,
Tuesday to decide
Chris, Penny,
a topic.
and
So Anything they message you,
Just,
anything, you
just
let me
know,
know. And
just before you go, Marsha, Chris, Penny, Dave, and Josh, I want all to pick a topic before we go. Just drop a random topic on wellness. Drop one. Anybody, any of you will drop one. Drop a topic there before we go. Right? So even though that mightn't be next week topic, we'll start to think about it. Drop a topic. Well, don't play shy for we here tonight because we gave all our hour and 5 minutes and 23 seconds, 24, 25, 26. You see, we're going into our hour and 6 minutes. Come on, drop a
we
thing before
always
we drop
cross
a
a little
topic.
over, yeah.
We ain't taking that,
But
man.
we
Only
have
drop a
fun,
topic.
because I start and we don't
Strength.
stop till we done.
Hey, strength. Look, this
Strength.
is strength.
Strength is
Yeah.
a good topic.
Right, so one of these days we're going to touch on strength, right, Christopher Rodriguez? And
That's a nice
again, thanks
topic. So
everyone for joining the Out of the Box Wellness Talk. We are live on YouTube as well. So anytime you're not picking up with Facebook, look out for us on YouTube. If Facebook shut down, don't feel we shutting down this program, or we will be live on YouTube. And YouTube didn't shut down the
right.
other
So
day here.
strength is a
That was
nice topic
Monday.
for next week. Confidence. Confidence and strength. Maybe we could touch on two,
Somebody
on the
say,
both of
all
them.
right, confident, okay, right? So yeah, and even if it's not next week, at least we know we have them on the lineup, right? Marsha, it is really nice in these conversations. Sorry, my audio wasn't working so good because some of the things I would have liked to come in with I couldn't. But we have more days. We ain't
Yeah,
rushing
that's
this
right.
thing.
That's right.
We ain't rushing this thing at all.
The
And this
important thing is
device
the
are using,
information get out there. That's the most
yeah,
important thing. The
the
information is out
visibility
there.
on.
So you all have a blessed night. I am back to mommy duties, and we stay safe, and we shall see each other all next week, Tuesday at 6 p.m., right? Take
Right,
care.
Ollie,
Have
we
a blessed
gone.
night.
Bye bye.